It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2013. We're talking about managing invasive species on this episode of Barnstable Today. Hydrilla and fanwort are causing problems in several ponds in Barnstable at this week's Conservation Commission hearing. The town's plans to use a variety of methods to control the aquatic weeds in Mystic Lake, Lake Wequawket, and other ponds were discussed at length. First up, a trio of notices of determination.
The first one, continue on as needed basis invasive aquatic weed project targeting plants such as fanwort and hydrilla by hand pulling, benthic blanketing, and section harvesting to entire Wequawket Lake and subbasins and coves, including Bursa's Pond and Gooseberry Cove in Centerville. The second one, continued on as needed basis invasive aquatic weed project targeting plants such as fanwort and hydrilla by hand pulling, benthic blanketing, and section harvesting to entirety of Mystic Lake and Marston's Mills. And the third one, Division seeks approval of a rapid response initiative to control invasive aquatic weeds such as hydrilla and fanwort by using physical methods only, including hand pulling, benthic blanketing, and section harvesting when pioneer infestations are discovered. Objective is to hopefully eliminate smaller size infestations before they require more involved means, such as aquatic herbicides.
Conservation Administrator Rob Gatewood had further comment.
I just wondered if you noticed in the determination itself, we established, self-imposed several rules on the way we would run this program. And these rules were established in consultation with Natural Heritage Endangered Species Program. They may or may not be commenting on the RDAs, as they will be commenting on the notices of intent that you'll hear, but we'll just wait that out. For Wequawket Lake, and also for the rapid response, which is a generic across town waterways wide application, we've established rules that every effort will be made to ensure that suction harvesting efforts will reside pondward of the estimated average fall edge of water to avoid affecting state-listed plant species. So we think that we can do that. We've got a good enough handle.
The CONCOM voted to approve a negative determination. That's a good thing on all three requests. Those will now move to the next phase. The Commission then heard a notice of intent for another method of control in a different area.
Town of Barnstable Conservation Division. Proposed project involves the use of U.S. EPA registered and state-approved herbicide Sonar for management of invasive fanwort within a portion of Gooseberry Cove of Lake Wequawket in Centerville. Rob?
Thank you. I just wanted to introduce our consultant from Lycott Environmental, Joyce Trahan-Liptak. And Lycott has worked previous years. They've been one of two consulting firms that have worked previous years in Wequawket Lake or its subbasins. They worked 2001, 2002, 2006. And the town recently retained them to file for permits for a sonar treatment of a patch of fanwort off of Gooseberry Island in Gooseberry Cove. So pursuant to that, we notified all the abutters around that cove, filed with Natural Heritage. I would just add that Natural Heritage hasn't, and they rarely do, comment early on a project, so we're still awaiting them. And we'll sort of huddle up, Joy and I, before the Commission takes action in any way on this, but we may be seeking a continuance to allow those comments to be in everyone's hands. before decision-making time.
Further information was provided on that plan.
Point, we found that there were 5 cove areas, 5 discrete areas of fanwort. And we weren't directly involved in it, but as I'm sure everybody is familiar, in 2011, an herbicide treatment was pursued using fluoridone, trade name Sonar. Due to several factors, that permit was not successful. In 2012, it was followed up by an amendment or a change in the notice to include, or to just include DASH, diver-assisted suction harvesting, in Burst Pond. And that project was conducted last year in 2012.
Was any sonar used in 2012?
Not that I know of. As of September 2012, an additional patch of fanwort was found outside of the DASH area. On your map, the northwest cove, or the very northern cove, is the previously managed DASH area. They also did some work in this green hatched cove to the east. These red dots are recent survey data of fanwort. This is the patch that was found outside of the DASH, the suction harvested area that was completed in 2012. They found this area at the end of the project, and due to timing and budget and various other things, they were unable to manage that area. I'm not 100% sure of the timeline, but somewhere around that time as well, a new patch in Gooseberry Cove was noted behind the island, and that is the red patch down, or orange patch down here in Gooseberry behind Gooseberry Island.
A biologist discussed past successful efforts and talked about plans for the future.
And then again in 2012, we performed some diver-assisted suction harvesting, or DASH, and a total of 9 days to try and tackle the expanding growth. And I think the difficulty is the kind of the contiguous nature of the growth, where it's fairly scattered and patchy in those other locations, which lend itself to bottomberry or hand pulling. This is starting to fill in and really become too much to be effectively handled with those traditionally smaller scale techniques. And so what we're asking is the ability to manage specifically this area A through the application of an aquatic herbicide. The product is called Aquathol K. The active ingredient is endothol. Historically, Sonar has been the herbicide of choice for hydrilla control. And that really stems from a lot of the research and work that's been done in the southern tier states, Florida and elsewhere, where they really have a different strain of hydrilla. It's a dioecious variety, where really all of the northern hydrilla infestations are monoecious, meaning they have both male and female flowers on the same plant. So there is belief that because of that, they have a greater potential to produce viable seeds. And in addition, the monoecious variety has adapted to these cold water environments and kind of taken on more of an annual type growth habit. So they're generally very quick to go into that reproductive stage, producing a kind of a potato-like tuber, or an axillary turion, which is essentially kind of a leaf bud that will overwinter and grow a new plant.
Hydrilla and fanwort are invasive aquatic plant species that can cause serious threats to our ponds. While the problem can't be entirely eliminated, it can be managed. You can watch that entire Conservation Commission hearing online at town.barnstable.ma.us. Just click on Video on Demand. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.